Yeah, no, like that's a lot of this game is like I remember when I first got into this game, I had a mentor that had been doing government work for the last 20, 25 years. And he told me, "Hey kid, I'm not giving you any of my contracts, but I'll help you get contracts if you can go ahead and find them. I'll help you execute on them." And that was like the little direction that I needed to get, because I was going to the small business events, and it just I was kind of like going in circles, right? But when I got around him, he kind of gave me like the inside scoop, like, hey, say this instead of that. Don't say that, say this. And we got to find people that do this instead of that. And once I got the inside scoop, and I invested with that mentor, it was like, man, I finally started getting results. It took me a year, but I got my first $500,000 contract. And then, we landed a $2.6 million project in Albany, Georgia, an $800,000 job up here in DC, $800,000 job for Tyndall Air Force Base down in Panama City, Florida. And we were changing a bunch of like the airfield shelters along the airfield, and the $800,000 job at Gainesville for the USDA doing a roof replacement. And it was just game on. So it sounds like you're like one of those superpowers too, where you got those like that little inside scoop, and you tell people to do this instead of that versus just kind of going in circles.
Well, it's about the data, right? I mean, I will say a huge contributing factor to my ability to be able to do that is to be able to just synthesize that data. I already kind of have it mapped in my mind what agency, what their missions and what they kind of buy are. But when you have a small business that has unique circumstances, unique capabilities, the data might not give you the full picture. So you might have to, in my case, use my sales experience, targeted market. If there's no data, we just have to go through untraditional methods to be able to find that information. But, it's part of the strategy. And that is where my passion lies. If I had my way, I would just be doing strategy. I love strategy. So if there's anyone that might be in the audience that's trying to find their way in this market, let's figure out who buys what you sell. Like, that's the first step. If you don't know who buys what you sell, you're shooting blind. And it's free data, right? Anyone can go to usaspending.gov and take a look at who buys what they sell.
Nah, that's game on right there, because that's the 100% the truth. Because that was one of the things that set me in the right direction. Is like I stopped just reaching out to all of the different agencies thinking that they're going to buy my product and service. Like, no, like there's specific ones that buy your product and service, and you could see it. And then you could see who buys a lot of it and who buys a little bit of it. I stopped reaching out to people who bought a little bit of it and started reaching out to people who bought a lot of it. And I was like, if I just can get 1% of 1% of 1% of that, I'd be golden, And I just kept telling myself, which kept me moving forward.